So I'm looking at the script I made for this video, and it just says insert Amogus joke here. And that's kind of dumb, so I'm just gonna go this entire video without mentioning Among Us. Juniors. This is actually the first FNAF game that I downloaded on release day. I was actually following it before it came out. And I remember watching streams and reviews of it. And at the time, while I didn't think it was the greatest FNAF game, but generally which you see a lot, I did really enjoy it. But this game does have a lot of problems. I'm not talking about the objectively worst fruit. This is one of those games that has a really solid foundation, great gameplay, phenomenal graphics and atmosphere, but it's just missing key components that make it feel like a tedious trial and error experience. Like a really nice house that's missing the carpet. That's what I thought on release. Let's take a look back now and see how this game feels long after launch. We boot up the game, set some settings, and accidentally delete my save file. We start a new game and something is immediately apparent. How this game presents itself is incredible. Yes, the animatronics are creepy in their own regards, but the game also goes above and beyond with this bit of opening. We have these little claymation animatronics, still image cutscenes, and to blow it all out of the water, a free roam hub world. This game was made in the Click Team engine, which is standard for FNAF games, but that engine is 2D only. This game is making a 3D free roam environment in 2D. Let that sink in for a second. But this is the beginning of a trend that Juniors has where it creates great things and it just doesn't do anything interesting with them. While this free roam environment is technically incredibly impressive, there's not really much to do in here. It's really just more a fancy segue to get to the gameplay as well as put together the story. Yes, the story is also polarizing. Look, the story presents itself fine. It does take some effort to figure out, but it's not like the original FNAF complicated at all. But it is a bit questionable once you put it all together. You essentially play as a paranormal investigator investigating the Juniors diner. Somehow you end up in the Barrens, which is the space between life and death, so you aren't dead, but Paul Barrier is dead. He needs your help to kill the ghost that haunts the restaurant. So you go to the restaurant to... I don't really know what the gameplay has to do with the story. The idea of the story is good, but Paul Bear is weird. He's oddly vague about the whole thing with essentially no reason for him to be. And our character pretty much has no reason to trust him. Later on, we have this lower moment with Paul Bear seeing how lonely he's been. He's been hiding in the Barrens for so long, he hasn't had anyone to talk to. And having us around is great. The moment is beautiful. I mean, look at this. I love how it looks, but there's nothing leading up to this that would provoke any kind of friendship. Our character essentially has no reason to connect to Paul Bear. Less than reason, in fact, because he lied to us before. And this kind of just comes out of nowhere. It's a shame, because I really like it. The story really wants to be something, but it has no foundation to be good and is presented only okay. I want to like this, but it is ultimately flawed. I'm willing to bet that most FNAF fan gamers don't play them for the story. So how's gameplay? It's also polarizing. The basic idea is that the gameplay is good, really good in fact, but it's just presented terribly. If you ever played Pop Goes, it's a similar situation. First of all, there's this great tutorial telling us what we're supposed to do. A ghost is possessing different animatronics in the diner. We need to watch the animatronics roam the diner and watch out for any paranormal anomalies to deduce who is possessed. Kind of like I'm on observation duty. None of the animatronics will come after you, rather you bring them to you to repair them. They all have these numbers going down, and if any of them reach 0,
you lose! Good day, sir!
You call them to your office to repair them. But if you call the possessed animatronic...
I said good day!
I'm gonna be completely honest, I love this. You have the rush of figuring out what anomaly is happening and then deducing which animatronics are safe and which ones are possible possessions. However, it's not perfect. For starters, the game's UI tells you all of this, but not how to do all of this. On a first playthrough, it's going to take you a while to figure out how to call and accuse animatronics, and even opening the cameras wasn't clear at all. Repairing the animatronics feels like a wasted opportunity, just like the Barrens. You just drag and drop these chips from into the animatronics. This totally could have benefited from each animatronic being a unique, different puzzle task, like sister location. Don't get me wrong, it works fine, especially for a free game, but you could see the potential there. And a few anomalies aren't explained too well, or at all. There are 5 anomalies that can happen. Flickering lights and your camera moving on its own are pretty standard. You try and single out which animatronic is causing such. The camera going offline is probably my favorite because the game turns into a mad dash to find every other animatronic. But the handprints. The game tells you to look for handprints on the cameras. What this really means is when an animatronic leaves the room, they'll leave handprints all over the cameras. Not only is this explained horribly, this is by far the worst anomaly to deal with. You're basically just watching for the animatronics to move, which isn't all that fun and very time consuming. The last anomaly is Balloon Baby, which isn't explained whatsoever. He doesn't appear on any cameras, but when he's possessed, his number on the laptop starts glitching. That's it. You need to be really stupid to get jump scared by him. Ignore that. It's also worth noting that the other 5 animatronics are all basically the same. The only different one is the puppet, who doesn't appear on the cameras, but you hear her music box when she's in the room. And yeah, that's gameplay. It has some very noticeable flaws, ranging from disappointing to annoying to what the heck am I supposed to do here. But is this one of the most unique and fun gameplay loops in a fan game? Heck yeah, if you can get past the flaws, you have an exhilarating game of Find Me From WePlay. And same from a custom night, that's basically it, that's Juniors. It's a good game with some flaws and very big disappointments, but ultimately is a great game of the caliber. I was going to talk about what makes a good final night and compare it to other games like Treasure Island, Entertainment Storage, and Tila Land. But nobody's got time for this. Let's get this over with. Juniors ends with one of the worst final nights I've ever seen in a fan game. Why? It's FNAF 2. Literally watered down, buggy version of FNAF 2 with virtually no difficulty other than RNG. Just wind the puppet, put on your mask, light, repeat for way too long. Oh my gosh. There are a few changes. You use your keyboard and stuff, which is convenient, but the stupidest change, when an animatronic enters your office, your camera automatically pulls down. This is annoying in more than one way. Not only does it give you ample time to put on your mask, but it also makes winding the puppet a pain. But eventually, you do get to this little checkpoint thing where all the animatronics combine into the Mangle. And crud gets real. It's basically the same gameplay loop. Mangle can appear in the hallway where you flash her, like Foxy. Her tail can also come into the room, which is triggered by an audio cue, by the way, and which you need to put on your mask, like Chica or Bonnie. Sorry, what's the change here? Yes, the ghost. It appears in one of the rooms, and you flash your light on her, and yeah, that's basically just music box, but in multiple different cameras. Admittedly, this is better, but it doesn't change the fact that it is still FNAF 2. And also, the day 1 version of this night was basically unplayable. Checkpoint didn't exist, so if you died, you had to start from the beginning and watch the cutscene that's literally over a minute long every time. And Foxy straight up just didn't work. I remember flashing my light in multiple times to no avail. Thankfully, this has been patched, but this is just a bad idea overall. This really leaves a bad taste in your mouth for what is otherwise a really decent meal, and it just makes the whole game feel hard to come back to. Music is fire though. I've been using one word to describe most of Junior's aspects, and I think it fits pretty well for the whole game. Polarizing. This is a game that has some great ideas, executes some of them fantastically, but leaves the rest in the dust. If you're someone that can excuse the underdeveloped story, cruddy UI, disappointingly used mechanics, horrible final night, and questionable decisions of the developer, this is a really good experience for you. The gameplay is incredibly unique and fun for a FNAF fan game, but ultimately just has a bunch of blemishes that I know a lot of people can't get behind. But I, for one, really enjoyed my experience going back to this. And with the Answer the Flip Side update coming out soon, I'm definitely staying tuned. But for now, that was a fun look back at Juniors. The highest highs and the lowest lows of any FNAF fan game I've played. Well, made a review on. We'll continue forward with what I called the 2022 fan game trifecta soon, but I do have some video ideas I'd like to get up first. And I've been incredibly busy with school, work, and on my new podcast, Spart-Cast. It's over on my new channel, Team 24 Spartan, where I'll post anything else game dev related, as well as the slow podcasts or live stream hybrid. And if you could check it out, that'd be greatly appreciated. But that's all from me. My name is AJ Plays, and this has been FNAF Among Us. Dang it!